Have you ever found yourself in that spot? You know the one. You've got these big dreams, real ambition. You know exactly what you should be doing. But somehow you're just stuck, procrastinating, maybe scrolling endlessly, or you just can't find the energy to actually start. And then there's a little voice, right? That guilt, because deep down you're capable of more. It's a really frustrating gap, isn't it, between where we are and where we want to be?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredibly common. And what's really compelling, I think, from the sources we looked at today, there's this unifying idea. It's not about some like fixed personality flaw, this thing called laziness. It's more often a pattern, right? A habit maybe driven by how our brains are wired, but it's something that can definitely be understood and, more importantly, reshaped.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we really want to cut through the noise. We want to understand what actually causes this cycle ambition, then inaction, then frustration, and crucially, how to break free. We've pulled some really insightful perspectives from a few YouTube channels, folks like the Angry Explainer, Rise of the Odd, The Blurb, and Natalie Dawson.
Yeah, some great stuff there.
And our mission really for you today is to walk away with practical, actionable things you can do. We want to help you kind of outsmart your own brain, get past that procrastination hurdle, and start making real, actual progress towards your goals. Not tomorrow, but today.
And it's less about needing this huge surge of willpower. It's more about understanding these subtle psychological levers you can pull to just get yourself moving.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Why do we get stuck? Why does our brain, even when we have the best intentions, seem to, well, fight us on doing the things that would actually help us?
Yeah.
Several of our sources point straight at our brain's wiring.
Yes, exactly. The Angry Explainer puts it really vividly. Often, your brain is simply overwhelmed. When a task looks too big, too complex, maybe just too far outside the usual comfort zone, your brain's default reaction is to seek comfort. It basically says, nope, let's avoid suffering right now.
A survival instinct, almost.
Yeah, pretty much. It's designed to keep you safe, conserve energy, even if long-term that sabotages your goals. And Rise Award of Auden echoes this too, notes that our brain is just hardwired to avoid pain and seek comfort, especially when tasks feel intimidating. The second something seems large or difficult, the brain starts looking for an easier out, something less demanding.
That makes sense. Our brain's just trying to keep things easy and safe.
Yeah.
But the blurb adds another interesting layer, connecting it to inertia. From physics, how does that fit in?
Right. If you sort of connect the dots, the blurb argues that inertia is like the real root cause of procrastination. Think back to Newton's first law, right? Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Objects in motion stay in motion. Getting something started needs that initial push, that first bit of energy. The problem, as the blurb explains it, is we often mentally blow up the size of that initial push. We make it seem like this monumental effort, and that perceived difficulty makes us shy away from the task altogether. Instead, we drift towards what they call cheap, dopamine-inducing activities.
The scrolling, the binge watching.
Exactly. Anything that gives you that instant, easy reward. It's not that we don't want the big goal. It's just that the idea of starting feels too hard.
So it's not really the doing the work that stops us most of the time.
Yeah.
It's the starting, that very first step. Why is that first step so disproportionately hard, do you think?
Well, I think it's because our brain sees that big, undefined start as a potential threat. Something that's going to take a lot of energy, maybe lead to discomfort or failure. It's primal. So the million-dollar question becomes, how do we make that initial push feel, well, not just easier, but almost automatic, so the brain doesn't hit the brakes? And this is where a lot of the sources get really practical. They offer ways to reframe things.
Yeah, like that strategy from the Angry Explainer
Yeah.
about challenging your identity. Not just saying, I'll do it tomorrow,
Yeah.
but actually making an identity shift. How does that work in practice?
It's kind of like fake it till you make it, but it runs deeper psychologically. It means you consciously stop what they call loser talk. Those negative things we tell ourselves. I am lazy. I never finish anything. And instead, you actively start adopting a new identity. So rather than thinking, I struggle to study, you start saying, maybe even out loud, I'm the kind of beast who studies every damn day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The source really hammers this point. Your brain doesn't actually know the difference between what's true right now and what you consistently tell it. So by repeating it and acting as if you were this new person, I finish what I start, I don't skip study days, you literally start rewiring your internal script. You begin to believe it, and then your actions naturally start to follow that new identity.
That's a big shift, yeah. Moving from what you do occasionally to who you fundamentally are. And Natalie Dawson, she has this really unique take on the act of deciding itself. maybe even a bit uncomfortable.
Oh, definitely. What's fascinating is she goes into the word decision itself. Its roots, decidere in Latin, mean to cut off.
Yes.
She argues that when you make a real decision to change, it's not just a casual thing, it's a clean break. You're cutting off the old version of yourself. From that instant, you have to act like the new person. Immediately. So if you decide, I'm someone who works out daily, then the old you who didn't, well, that person just doesn't exist anymore.
No more wiggle room.
Exactly. You've cut off the option of not doing it. It's decided.
And she doesn't pull any punches about feeling bad either, does she? Which, let's be honest, most of us try to avoid.
No, she leans right into it. She actually advocates for ruining yourself with disappointment. Her point is, stop sugarcoating things if you feel unhappy or you know you're not living up to what you could be. That disappointment, that uncomfortable feeling, she says, that's the wake-up call you need. It's a powerful catalyst for change. She even shares this really powerful story about a family friend who knew so much it made her feel inadequate. And instead of just feeling bad, that feeling spurred her into action. She immediately subscribed to The Economist and the Wall Street Journal to get more informed. She used the discomfort.
So harness the bad feelings instead of running from them. Okay, so you make the decision. You use the disappointment.
Yeah.
What's the next step then for actually building that future?
Dawson stresses how vital it is to define very clearly what you want your life to actually look like. She recommends literally sitting down and writing out your goals for, say, the next 5 years. Personal, professional, financial, all of it. This isn't just daydreaming. It creates a really clear, concrete picture of the person you're aiming to be. And once you have that vision, you can start making today's decisions as that future self. Ask yourself, what would future me do right now?
Right.
She talked about overcoming this huge fear she had about participating in a conference. She just decided she refused to be the person who stayed quiet because of fear. That future vision pulled her forward.
That's a perfect lead in to the really practical stuff, the immediate actions we can take to bridge that gap. That seems to be where a lot of the sources converge.
Absolutely. A huge theme is making tasks incredibly, almost ridiculously small. Like Rise with Auden suggests, if you want to write a book, forget the chapter, just write one sentence today. That's it. Want to learn guitar? Don't think about mastering songs. Just practice one chord. Just one. The focus shifts entirely from perfection to just progress. Making any forward movement. The Angry Explainer calls it making it too easy to fail. Breaking down something huge like study physics into just open the PDF and read the damn title.
Okay, I can see how that lowers the barrier.
Exactly. The blurb suggests, instead of a 5,000-word essay, aim for just 50 words. 50. The insight is clarity kills inaction. When the first step is that tiny, your brain just can't find a good reason to say no. You're essentially bypassing its threat detection system. Small task, no threat.
These micro-commitments,
Yeah.
they sound like they could really work against that initial resistance.
They really seem to. And then there are these specific rules people use. The Angry Explainer talks about Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. The idea is the moment you think of doing something useful, like getting up, making that call, whatever, before your brain can talk you out of it, you count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just move, physically go.
No thinking time.
0 thinking time. You interrupt the hesitation loop, and then both Rise with Auden and the blurb mention the 2-minute rule. You just promise yourself you'll do the task for only 2 minutes. Want to read? Read 1 page. Need to tidy up. Just pick up one thing, start one small corner. The magic is once you've actually started, inertia flips. It's often easier to just keep going for a bit longer. That first tiny push gets the ball rolling.
And speaking of brain tricks, this next one from the Angry Explainer sounds really interesting, the Zeigarnik effect.
Yeah, the Zeigarnik effect. It's this neat psychological quirk. Basically, when you start something, even if it's just for a minute or two, your brain flags it as incomplete. And it finds that genuinely annoying. It creates this kind of mental itch, an open loop that your brain wants to close. So it keeps subtly reminding you, nagging you to go back and finish it.
Huh. So you can use that.
Totally. The strategy is just start the task. Even for 5 stupid minutes, as the source puts it, do it badly, whatever, just open the loop. Then let your brain's natural desire for completion, kind of, pull you back to it later. Your brain becomes your accountability partner in a weird way.
Okay, but what about those days? We all have them. The days you just feel completely drained, zero motivation. What then?
Right. The garbage days, as the Angry Explainer calls them. For those, they suggest the minimum effort system. This isn't about pushing through for hours. It's about committing to just 15, maybe 30 minutes of focused work. That's it. Minimum input. The goal is minimum damage. You didn't completely fall off track.
Keep the streak alive. sort of.
Exactly. The creators shared how this simple approach helped them get into the top university in Latin America with, they said, zero help. It prioritizes consistency over intensity. Showing up even minimally keeps the momentum going and reinforces that identity shift we talked about.
So just showing up, even imperfectly, is key.
Definitely. Rise with Odd talks about creating easy routines for this reason. Willpower, as we know, runs out. It's unreliable. Routines make things automatic, like putting your running shoes right by the bed, less decision-making involved. And Natalie Dawson reinforces this with make progress daily. She suggests planning your next day the night before. She even talks about graphing key habits, sleep, workouts, savings. Seeing those tiny wins visually builds momentum. It's the small daily steps adding up that really change things.
Okay, so we've got mindset shifts, micro actions, routines. What about our actual surroundings? Does where we are physically matter?
Oh, hugely, according to Natalie Dawson. She puts it pretty bluntly. Wherever you're currently spending your time, stop spending your time there if you're feeling stuck in a rut.
Mm.
Your environment sends powerful cues to your brain. It shapes how you feel, what feels possible. So if your desk at home has become the procrastination station, get out. Go somewhere else.
Like a coffee shop.
Yeah, she mentioned studying in Starbucks or even a hotel lobby back in college. Just finding a different groove in a new place shifted her focus and mindset entirely. Changing your physical context can signal to your brain, okay, new place, new rules, time for productive action.
That's interesting. Okay, what about this idea of fun study? That sounds appealing.
Right. The Angry Explainer talks about this fun study without feeling like you're studying. The idea is that research shows watching engaging videos, listening to podcasts about your topic, it can actually boost motivation. Your brain just wants information served up in a way that doesn't feel like, quote, academic torture.
Ah, okay.
So maybe using ChatGPT to explain something complex in simple terms, or, and I love this visual, trying to teach your pet goldfish what you just learned. It leverages the brain's preference for easy, engaging content to actually absorb useful information.
There's a catch, isn't there?
Yeah.
Can't just be passive watching.
Exactly. And Dawson hits this hard. She warns against entertainment disguised as education. It's so easy to binge hours of self-help YouTube, feel really inspired and productive, but if you don't immediately do something with what you learned, you're just swapping one form of passive consumption for another.
Right, like watching cooking shows doesn't make you a chef.
Precisely. Her rule is simple: learn something new. Immediately take some kind of action based on it, even a tiny one. That locks in the learning and turns it into actual progress, not just more information floating around in your head.
Okay, makes sense. So finally, as we wrap up these strategies, Dawson talks about setting boundaries. That can be tough.
Definitely tough, but necessary. Her last 2 points are about protecting your focus and energy. First, she says, separate yourself from people who don't support you. Now, this doesn't have to be some big dramatic confrontation. It can be more like creating slow and subtle distance. As you get busier building your new life, focused on your goals, you'll naturally have less time and energy for relationships or interactions that pull you back down.
You just become unavailable for the old stuff.
Exactly. And second, she urges you to just say no. Say no to things that don't align with your goals. And this includes, interestingly, those self-imposed errands or busy work we sometimes invent to avoid the real work. You have to critically look at your to-do list and ask, does this actually move me forward?
That requires some serious honesty.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the big picture for you listening? We've learned this laziness thing. It's not a life sentence. It's more like a pattern, right? Driven by our brain wanting comfort and getting stalled by the inertia of big tasks.
And we've packed your toolkit with strategies: shifting your identity, using disappointment, making tasks tiny, the 5-second rule, the 2-minute rule, using that Zeigarnik effect, plus the minimum effort system for bad days, building routines, tracking progress. And don't underestimate changing your environment, setting boundaries, and that crucial step, acting on what you learn.
Yeah, the consistent message from all these sources seems to be perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is. Even tiny, imperfect steps done over and over, they add up to massive change. It's like Rise with Auden put it, your dreams are like a tiny spark.
Yeah.
Every small action is like adding a little bit of fuel. Keep adding fuel consistently, and soon enough, you've got this roaring fire going.
That's a great analogy. And if you think about it, the whole journey, it often feels like pushing a really heavy ball uphill at the very start. That inertia is real. But once you get it over that initial hump, it starts to roll. It gains momentum. It gets easier. It reminds me of that Martin Luther King Jr. quote, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Oh, and maybe the question to leave you with is this.
Mm.
What's the single smallest step, something you can do in the next, say, 5 minutes that you'll commit to taking today to just light that fire?